Hello friends, this is Jennifer Terri and welcome to my channel. In this video, we have information about the updated travel restriction guidelines for all travelers to the Philippines. So this information both affects foreign nationals and Filipino citizens. So as we know that there is a travel ban in the Philippines, a total travel ban for certain countries. So foreign nationals departing from or who have been to these 21 countries or any of these countries in the past 14 days before their scheduled arrival in the Philippines are not allowed to enter the country. So this takes effect starting December 30 until January 15, 2021. So a recent addition to this list was the United States of America. So starting tonight, midnight January 3, all foreign nationals coming from the United States of America from the last 14 days before arriving in the Philippines are not allowed entry. Okay, despite of having a 9A visa or a 13A visa or a 9E visa and so on and so forth, you are not allowed to enter the country. And same with former Filipinos. Even if, we know that the Balikbayan privilege was reinstated last December 7, this travel ban prevails, even if you're a former Filipino. So, yes, even if you're a former Filipino and you're coming from any of these banned countries, you are not allowed to enter the Philippines until January 15, 2021. So let's keep going. So the information I'm sharing from you is coming from the advisory of the Bureau of Immigration. They posted just this morning, January 2, 2021. So the advisory is very important as what the title says, updated travel restriction. So it means that there are changes. And I think the change that has been done here is very sensible. So let's learn about it. So the changes affects only those Filipinos and foreign nationals transiting in a country under travel ban. So if you are coming from a country that is under the travel ban, you are still not allowed until January 15, okay? But this good news, the change in the travel restriction affects those coming from a country that is not under the travel ban, but are transiting through a country that is under the travel ban. Okay, for example, okay, let's say John. John is from New Zealand. He's a New Zealander, but for his flight to the Philippines, he will transit to Hong Kong. Okay, so this change is for John and also for Juan. So Juan is, let's say, from India. India is not still covered by the travel ban. So Juan is arriving in the Philippines. He's a Filipino citizen, but let's just say he's transiting in Singapore. So Singapore is under the travel ban. So again, this information will also be helpful for John, okay, or Juan. Let's keep going. So furthermore, the Office of the President provided the following rules to Filipinos and foreign national passengers merely transiting through a country covered by the travel restriction. So again, these are the countries under the travel restriction or the travel ban. So all passengers, Filipinos or foreigners alike, merely transiting through any of the countries covered by the travel ban, these countries, if you are transiting from any of these countries, shall not be deemed as having come from or having been to that country, provided that that passenger stay in the airport the whole time and they were not cleared for entry by the immigration authorities of the said country covered by our travel restrictions. Yes, so as I said, for example, a person coming from New Zealand transits through Hong Kong, they will still be allowed entry into the Philippines, even if that person is a foreign national, as long as they stayed in the airport the whole time, and that they are not cleared by entry by the immigration authority of the banned country. Okay? If my words is not clear to you, just read what is in front of your screen. You can pause the video to read the whole thing. Now let's move forward. So again, I will emphasize. So Filipinos or foreigners who merely transit through a country that is under the travel ban are allowed entry, but and so they are not required to complete the 14 days facility-based quarantine. So that is another good news, less hassle. So if you are just transiting through a country that is under the travel ban, you don't have to do the 14 days facility-based quarantine, and you may be allowed home quarantine after getting your negative COVID result. So this is good. So if you're just transiting through a country that is under the travel ban, you don't have to do the 14 days quarantine. You can do home quarantine, okay? So it's the same rules for you. It's the same existing rules. So after your COVID result comes out, you can leave your hotel quarantine and go home to your final destination. Next is transiting foreign passengers who left the airport or were cleared for entry into the country covered by the travel ban or the 21 countries will be prohibited from entering the Philippines. Okay, so if you are a foreign national and you are coming from a country that is not under the travel ban, but you transit through a country that is under the travel ban, and let's say you went outside the airport or you were cleared by the immigration authority of that banned country, when you arrive in the Philippines, you will not be allowed entry. You will be sent back to where you came from. Yeah. Next is, how about for Filipinos? So if you are a Filipino and you are coming from a country that is not under the travel ban, but you transited through a country that is under the travel ban, and let's say you left the airport in that banned country, or you were cleared entry, it means that your passport were stamped or something. So if you were cleared entry into the country that is covered by the travel ban, you will be required to do the absolute 14 days facility-based quarantine. Okay, even if your COVID result comes out negative, you would still have to finish your 14 days facility-based quarantine. So that is, yeah, the thing. So this is just a short video. So I would like to add also that um, for those Filipinos who will be affected by the travel restriction, let's say that they were cleared entry or they left airport at the travel ban country, then they will have to do the facility-based 14-day quarantine, right? So you have two options for that. You can stay in a stringent quarantine hotel of your choice. So again, there is also a list for that by the Bureau of Quarantine. I'll put the link in the description box so you can have a look and you can choose. Or your option is, because staying in a hotel 14 days, that is expensive, man. That's expensive. So if you are in a tight budget, you can also stay in a government facility quarantine for 14 days, which is free. Okay? Free, the food is free and the accommodation is free. But yeah, just be warned, don't expect too much from that facility. Yeah, don't expect too much because there have been issues about the facilities not being cleaned. Anyway, let's summarize what has been discussed in this video. First one is foreign nationals coming from the 21 banned countries are prohibited from entry up to January 15. Okay, remember the 21 countries. If you are coming from that one of these countries for the last 14 days before you arrive in the Philippines, you're not allowed until January 15. Next is Filipinos coming from the 21 banned countries are subject to a facility-based quarantine. Okay, of course, Filipino citizens, no matter what, are allowed to go home to their country. So even if you come from the banned country, you are still allowed, but you are subject to a 14 days facility-based quarantine. Again, either stringent hotel of your choice, of your own cost if you are a non-OFW, and or you can decide to choose in a government facility which is free. Move forward. And for transiting passengers from banned countries, Filipinos and foreign nationals merely transiting who don't leave the airport, who don't get cleared by the immigration of the banned country, you are not covered by the travel ban, meaning you are allowed entry and you are not required to do a 14 days facility-based quarantine. So it's the same protocols, 1 to 2 days hotel quarantine, and then you can go home once your COVID negative result comes out. Next is foreign passengers who leave the airport or cleared entry by the immigration of the banned country are prohibited from entry into the Philippines. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll put the link in the description box, of course, so you can have a read. If you want to know about the travel restriction to US travelers, check out my last video. And yes, that is all for this video. Happy New Year and God bless us all. Bye.